I'm Tony Basilio. Gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fanrun Radio.
I really wanted to join Russell today. I really wanted to join Dubsy and my boy William Pattison today. Tony Basilio live in the Rainier studio, but I couldn't get there. But they're at Smoky Mountain Brewery today, Turkey Creek, and the reason we couldn't get there is John Adams couldn't make it. So no John, no me, no me, no you, no you, me, no me, no me, no you, no you, no bueno. Oh, excuse me, baking powder?
You never mentioned that to me.
I know. I never mentioned it to me. So today on the show, we're going to cover the basketballs. We're going to cover the basketballs. We're going to cover the men's and the women's. It's Basketball Tuesday. Basketball Tuesday. Basketball Tuesday. And something for Joey.
Do you...
Those are our titles today. It's Basketball Tuesday and something for Joey.
Did you at a young age, were you repetitive like you are now?
No, I'm trying to burn the title back to her because she wants to know what the title is. This is total team effort here, buddy boy.
Laura said she's playing golf today with her son.
She didn't tell me that. Are you really? That's nice.
You really have a good situation.
It's good to find out these things from my Tuesday cohort, presented by Jennifer Morris, Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. May I brag on Jennifer for a second? Yes, I may. What a wonderful lady. What a wonderful lady. What a terrific lady. Vandy Daddy's in here bragging that the Lady Doors got another top 10 win last night. So Vanderbilt's got a pretty good basketball team, women.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not the
kind of
top
like
echelon.
Kind of like we are.
Maybe a little better, but I could see Tennessee beating Vanderbilt. Yeah.
We've got that to talk about today. I got to ask John if he's owed an apology. Hey, Matt, as I bring Matt Diskin in. Matt, great report today over at tclub.team. I'd encourage anybody to read it. I've had several people reach out to me and say that they really appreciate your report today, Matt. So thank you for that. Matt, can Matt hear me? Brian, can you hear me? I mean, it would help, John, if we got in here and did some, pre-production meeting. It doesn't sound like they can hear me.
Looks like it's all on me today.
What have we done here, John?
Exactly
what?
Tony.
I mean, what is going on here? Laura, Mayday, 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 Mayday. John, do I owe you an apology over the Kim Caldwell stuff? When you asked her that question, I thought it was smug and arrogant of you and off-putting and like that you attacked her. When you asked her what? Do you remember what you asked her?
Oh, at our introductory press conference, I simply asked, do you think you're playing at a higher level of basketball now? Do you think you will need to tweak your system?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all. It was.
And her
reply was no. If I didn't think this would work here, I wouldn't have taken the job. Something along those lines, I think.
Do you? What do you think now?
Oh, I think she'll tweak her system.
She will.
Has to. It won't work against the most elite teams. You see right now, the Lady Vols don't press as much as they did when she first started here. And if you go back and look at her body of work before that, at her lower level, the full court press, they pressed relentlessly. Also, she's changed her substitution pattern somewhat. It's not as much inline 5 for 5 as it was earlier. But what she has to do next is really find an alternative to these three-pointers. If you're going to run this system and rely heavily on three-point shooting, then you better have some marksmen out there on the perimeter. and right now Tennessee's struggling at that. South Carolina went to a zone, so you would think a good 3-point shooting team, you're in a 2-3 or 1-3-1, they might carve that up. Now South Carolina does have pretty good length, but anyway, Tennessee just kept firing threes, and they were missing. Not only missing, but missing badly. It was a bad look. When you go 10 for 44 on threes, you better have an alternative. And maybe we could ask Mark that today. Is he going to be with us? I saw Mark yesterday at the tip-off
and the lunchy bunch. You went over?
Yes.
Who was the speaker yesterday?
Rick Barnes.
Oh, how cool. How was he?
It was great. And also they honored Rick Russo.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a surprise. They did a
Rick didn't know it was happening. Yeah, and
and Barnes was in on it, right? Barnes was So tell everybody what happened.
Well, Rick was there just to be there, I think, but he might have wondered because his wife and daughter and a daughter showed up there, but
it's not working at all.
No, Rick didn't see this coming. Rick Russo didn't, and. So Marcos Garza was there.
Yeah.
He always attracts a crowd. People love Marcos.
He's a moron.
He's probably saved a lot of people their money.
So
time.
Question for you. On this Kim Caldwell thing, which I find fascinating now. Because I've never heard a coach say what she said about her team the other night. She said, and I want to read something to you. Tony, I've been a faithful follower for many years. This guy texted me last night. But I've been so disappointed in recent months on your sudden crash on Dr. Danny and the Lady Vols. Experiment. Really, her first year with what she inherited was phenomenal. This year has been gut-wrenching at times, but your comments are destructive and biased. In my opinion, you've lost your objective.
Well, you're not supposed to be objective. You're a talk show host. I'm not objective. I'm a columnist. You are paid to deliver your opinion. I'm paid to deliver mine. So what's he talking about? Objective? Now,
that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, of course, you got to give your take.
I said to him, sorry to disappoint. I abhor coaches that don't take responsibility for what they're responsible for. And she's been set up nicely by this athletic director to succeed. I'm just calling balls and strikes here. Fair reply? That's how I see it.
Yeah, I think you also could have lectured him on the role that you have. I mean, I've been hearing that my whole career is, well, you're not being objective.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been a columnist almost my entire sports writing career. I'm not supposed to be objective.
Mm-hmm.
It's my take on something. Good, bad, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know why people respond. My gosh.
And our takes are wrong a lot. Like that's kind of that's the other side of this. It's like,
look, here's the thing. I thought Kim Caldwell did a tremendous job last season.
Me too.
She took over a team and had to indoctrinate her team in a completely different system. Those players weren't recruited for that.
Yep.
And I thought she did a masterful job, won 24 games, went to the Sweet 16 this year's, and also was competitive, lost by a couple of points to LSU, by one to Oklahoma, beat UConn by 4, played South Carolina a 7-point game. She took on the best teams in the country, lost to Texas by maybe 4, and held her own against them. Her team did. This team that she sort of pulled together there, she brought in some transfers, but mostly these were the players that were left for her. And I thought it was a tremendous coaching job and gave fans a real reason to be optimistic over what was to come. This team, more talent, more athletic.
Atrocious team.
But it can't shoot
from a
three.
Team standpoint.
What it does, Tennessee has the talent that everybody talks about parity in women's basketball. There's more of that than it used to be, but there's still a group of elite teams at the top, like a Texas, South Carolina, UConn, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And they're playing a different level. You've addressed this before. It's one thing to beat number 21, say Alabama, or win at Georgia when it might have has only lost 4 games. But those teams, what's happening is their flaws and their shortcomings become very apparent against teams of this magnitude. But what was really, and she said this, you talked about, she did throw her team under the bus. She said they quit.
Is there a place to say that? Is there a place for a head coach?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a motivational.
You don't mind that? Because I was talking to people poking around at UT yesterday afternoon, and they're highly concerned that she would say that publicly. They don't think it's a good look for the fans. They don't think it's a good look for her. They don't think that there's a concern level as well from a PR standpoint about her saying that my team arrived late before that loss to Mississippi State. Like, these are you wondering, do you want an apology? Because I really came down. Matt, do we owe John an apology? John was right. Kind of like Negative. He got his apology. Matt, what do you think?
You can. I mean, you made such a big deal out of, one question. Then I'd prefer not to make a bigger deal out of it now.
Yeah.
A few years later.
Well, Tony just took that thing and blew it all out of proportion, I thought.
Which he rarely does.
Oh, my.
I actually think there's a lot of parallels between the Lady Vols and Kentucky basketball after this weekend. Like, everything that John just kind of said about the Lady Vols, kind of overachieved in year one with a roster that was kind of put together.
Wow.
Recruited a more talented team, spent a bunch of money, but the pieces don't fit. Doesn't quite gel with what the coach wants to run. Based from this weekend, since I kind of watched both of them, I think there's some parallels between the two.
That's fair. And to Tony's point, though, I don't think anything is off the table, especially in this era. Tennessee's players are probably pretty well paid. They have one of the higher payrolls in women's basketball,
that's right.
NIL-wise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I believe in holding players accountable. The problem is when you do that, you also need to point out your own flaws. See, I think
that's my problem with her.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Well, yeah, she's looking at it from coach to team.
Yeah.
She's not thinking big picture as much there. And here's the thing, too. If Rick Barnes does that, it's a little different because Rick Barnes has won about 850 games. He's on his way to 1,000. I mean, if Kim Mulkey does that or Gino Auriemma, I've heard Gino Auriemma throw his team under the bus, but it's usually a motivational ploy. And I think that's what she's trying to do here is a motivational ploy. But, and I got a text from a former Lady Vol player who not to that point about throwing players under the bus.
They hate the level of play. They hate the level of play. They hate.
Well, but here's the thing.
Go ahead.
That she pointed out.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very fair point. Mm-hmm. Dawn Staley, obviously one of the best coaches in the country, 3 national titles.
Mm-hmm.
Early part of that game, Tennessee's getting to the basket on South Carolina. It's kind of holding its own, getting to the basket. And she goes to a zone. I haven't seen Staley play zone much.
Only done it one other time. We had a guy in here yesterday at our in our YouTube room, and I checked on it after he said it. She's only done it one time in her career.
I find that really odd.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this last week.
They won't do it.
Come on. You can't, to me, as a coach, you can't be married to your system. You got to be married to winning and do whatever it takes.
And Dawn Staley said, you know what? You guys can't shoot, and I'm gonna beat you by 50 now.
I know.
We're taking that away from you.
Think about it.
But a lot of coaches wouldn't do it, John. A lot of coaches would rather lose and not play a zone defense. Matt, to me, that's the most curious thing. If you were to make a football analogy, it'd be like a defensive coordinator saying, I'm only going to play man.
Man, yeah.
I'm not going to play zone at all. Matt, it makes no sense
We're not.
that these people have you-know-what measuring contests with each other over who plays a zone and who plays a man. I would much rather beat somebody by 45 points, Matt, playing a zone defense and walk out of there going, hey, you know what? I had to play zone today. They were kind of carving us up and we were playing man. I mean, I had to. It makes no sense, Dixon. That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't because, like you said, she had never played it before. So Tennessee wasn't prepared for it at all. So, and they obviously had no idea what to do against it and never could adjust because they just weren't ready for it. But yeah, it's curious that coaches don't do that more in this kind of era of, analytics and just kind of overcoaching so much that teams don't just kind of throw that in occasionally against teams. But nobody does it. Nobody does that.
Nobody.
It's just a weird deal.
It's a sign of weakness to play a zone defense. Is it in women's basketball too, John? Same kind of thing?
I've never even thought about that. I certainly don't look at it as
she's never played zone.
Okay, well, and here's the thing. So why did she do it? Dawn Staley, she's not in the Final Four. She's not in the Elite Eight. So what if she loses to Tennessee? I mean, it's not crushing her season. I would be curious about why she chose to do it at that time if she's never done it. And to me, if I'm Dawn Staley, or here's another thing. What about Tennessee plays Texas, one of the best teams in the country?
Saturday.
Is it Sunday?
Sunday, I'm sorry.
In Knoxville. And Texas has as much size, more size than South Carolina. Very athletic. Got a lot of big players, big guards. I mean, if they wanted to play a zone, they could sure play one. But here's the oddity of it. You say, well, Lady Vols weren't prepared for the zone.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't know. I don't know whether they were or not.
Well, but how? But
they got beat 45 points, though.
Well, I know. But all they did was jack up threes. Think about this. You're getting ready to play a three-point shooting team.
Yeah.
I mean, how many coaches say, man, we got to get our zone out for that three-point team? No, you think of three-point shooting teams, they shoot a team out of a zone. We got to get in their face. And here's Tennessee just how should they have approached that zone?
Hey, Matt, I'm going to take your comparison one step further because this is an interesting thing about sport. Josh Heupel inherited Jeremy Pruitt's players, okay? By the way, Jeremy Pruitt did a really classy thing yesterday and honored his word at Jacksonville State instead of taking the Maryland job, staying at a lower level, making less money because he made a commitment to his friend, and he turned Mike Loxley down yesterday. A lot of people don't do that. I wanted to just say that.
Wait a minute.
I know Jeremy Pruitt has a lot of friends in the local community, and I think that's a really good, classy sign on him to do that. But here's the analogy. So Josh Heupel has all this success with a lot of players that he inherited, okay? And then he goes out and recruits his own, okay? And you would think, God, it's going to get better and better. But they can't replicate when he brings in his own players what they did with somebody else's players. Mark Pope inherits a ragtag team last year, and they take him to the Sweet 16. Now, listen, if you're a Kentucky fan and you're listening to us, okay, I'm doing the math in tomorrow's blog. Y'all are going to go into the tournament as a 6, 7, or an 8 seed because you're getting ready to lose a bunch of games here down the stretch. No offense to you. But again, you ought to take one of your home games and move it to Middlesboro High School because you're mid. And it's a shame there's not a middle Kentucky University. You could play a game there because you guys have a mid basketball team this year. And Matt's right. Last year's team, for some reason, fit better than this year's team. Kim Caldwell goes out this offseason, and this is why it's a great comparison. And the Heupel comparison is very good, too. Heupel has been seeded with money since NIL has started. Yes or no, John?
Yes, he has.
And his choice of quarterbacks to this point has been curious, to say the least. They're now so confident in what they have that they're appealing to the courts something for Joey, 1 extra year for Joey Aguilar to keep us from seeing what they have. I don't understand it, but that's what they're doing. It's interesting that these people can do their best coaching in year one. Here's the other thing I wonder about Kim Caldwell. I ask you, and I ask, and also the guy at Kentucky, Matt. Here's another thing worth discussing. Could it be that these coaches go to work on the way you like to play and come up with checks for what you like to do? Could it be that he was seen one time through the league and it was, the guy at Kentucky, and it was, it was a little different, and we got to get our hands on what he's trying to do. But you got smart people in these places, and they, just like with Heupel's defense, they figured out the 2 or 3 high safety look. Let's take the deep ball away or make them earn the deep ball one way or another, but no more of this conventional defense against them. And then with the third comparison, they're not allowing Our Lady to disrupt everything that they were doing, and teams are getting layups and getting shots at the rim with a high frequency when you watch a Lady Vols play the halves. And John will tell you this because I've watched them. I watch these games. I watch that UCLA game. It's like a layup line.
Yeah.
I mean, Jaime Jaquez's sister, okay, literally made like 10 layups against them. And they are uncontested at the basket layups. John, am I lying? It is Katie bar the door for them on defense.
I started early.
Yeah.
Because I was writing a column on the game. So I started early noting layups. And then in the third quarter, I just stopped. There were just so many. It was like, well,
you were putting checks on the paper or whatever.
What's the point of keeping tabs on them? It's just a layup avalanche. Mm-hmm. It really looked in the second half. And I think they had 13 layups in the first half. And that was the lull before the storm. I mean, there were so many more coming. And Caldwell's right. Her team did quit. They just quit.
Broke their will.
Yeah.
But you give up that many. When you're down 30, and then they take the Paolo girl out because she physically can't play in that game. She's just not ready yet. She's just too little, and she's getting kind of shoved around.
She's a really good player. She's one of their better players.
Mm-hmm.
One of their top 4 or 5 players.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are sometimes at height, as good as Zakai Ziegler, I'm not saying she's going to be as good as he was. As good as he was,
mm-hmm.
There were times, though, he's great at stealing the ball,
mm-hmm.
but guys could shot over him.
No question.
I mean, that comes into play at some point.
Yes.
And if you got Texas has a Rory Harriman is about 5'7" guard,
mm-hmm.
and she's an unbelievable defender, and she's very strong for her size.
Mm-hmm.
If there are a few players that can do that, and Paldo may be able to do that as she goes through her college career,
mm-hmm.
but you do give up a little something with that unless
mm-hmm.
they're totally tenacious. I think, though, with another example of this, I think part of it factors into recruiting. Caldwell's got a lot of money to play with NIL-wise, so she goes out and recruits a top-notch class.
Mm-hmm.
Is she recruiting all-stars, or is she recruiting the best players for her system? Now, again, they aren't always the same. One thing last year's team had, it didn't have the athleticism of this one, but it had some spot-up three-point shooters.
That's right.
And you need a blend. See, to me, with this team, I wouldn't be so worried about the three-pointer. I would mix that in, but I would want to get – you're athletic, you've got some size, go to the basket. I don't know if anybody out there has a mid-range game.
Yeah.
But what do you do
Yep.
if the other team is playing a zone and you're supposed to be a 3-point shooting team, and you can't shoot them.
My thing is this. My thing is this, and it's just very simple. Okay. Can she turn this thing around this year? It's what you're getting paid for. Did she reach her team the other day with her comments, or did she lose her team with her comments? Because that is a strange. Listen, somebody said, well, why were you guys talking about yesterday? Here's why I was talking about yesterday. It was all over the ESPN stuff. It was all over like CBS Sports yesterday and Super Bowl Sunday. When a coach comes out and says after a game, my team's quitters, nobody says that. Nobody says that. I mean, that's napalming your team. I mean, nobody says that.
Pat Summitt would say that.
But she would also say what else?
She didn't have to say anything else.
She would blame herself, too. That's how she was. You know that.
No, but there were times she would single out players. I always use this example.
Yeah.
They're playing in Ruston, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Dan Flesser, our beat guy, couldn't go for some reason. And maybe I just went because I was going home to Louisiana. Mm-hmm. So I covered the game. They get beat. This is back in the 90s. They get beat by 18 points. Mm-hmm. Post-game, you send out 2 players post-game press conference. Coach comes out and then 2 or 3 players. She sent out the 2 players that played the worst, told them, you go explain what happened. When she did it, she made players accountable. Mm-hmm. You can do that. It depends on what kind of relationship you had with the players. Now, Pat Summitt was already a legendary coach at that point. Mm-hmm. But Pat Summitt had a real gift for being able to be a player's buddy off the court and the taskmaster at practice and during a game. Not all coaches can walk that tightrope.
The question is, and this is a question a lot of people are asking around this thing right now, did Danny White reach and take a risk when he didn't have to, when he had guys like Jeff Walls out there that wanted the job, and he had other proven coaches that wanted the job? Because what Danny's done is he's taken a rather inexperienced coach and who's got kind of a sort of a strange, whatever the term is, a peculiar approach to what she's trying to do. It's definitely different. And they've salted her with a lot of money. Rather than giving her a lot of money and not putting a lot of money in the payroll, they've chosen to go the Texas Tech route, essentially. And I don't know if I don't know if the hire is the right hire. I don't know.
Well, you don't, it may be still, you don't know yet because, again, good first year.
She feels out of her depth, John, to me.
I hear that a lot. She feels out of her depth against the best teams in the country. But how many other teams seem out of their depth when they play LSU, Texas, South Carolina, and UConn, and UCLA now? I think that has to come into play into your thinking. Here's the thing, though. As bad as they looked at UConn against UConn, and even worse, South Carolina is a good team. This is not one of Dawn Staley's awesome teams.
My gosh, you got to be kidding.
No, this isn't one of her best. No, this isn't one of her best teams.
My Roan.
But they still could beat Tennessee by 43 points.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, okay, but I still think Tennessee will make the NCAA tournament. It will get a high enough seed because of strength of schedule, where I wouldn't be shocked if it's back in the Sweet 16, which is pretty much where it's been ever since the final days of Pat Summitt. So
the question is, though, when you have that kind of payroll and you're pouring that kind of money into it, is that what you're aspiring to be in the Sweet 16?
No. Okay, well, see, that's a valid point, because then let's go back to the people funding the payroll.
Right.
Okay, so they saw in Kelly Harper her team was making the NCAA tournament. It was winning 20-something games. But they didn't want to raise the ante. They didn't want to add any more. No, they didn't believe she could take them to a higher level.
Hey, Brian, was Kelly Harper ever getting blowed out like this? Because Laura and I were talking about this last night. Or the coach before her that now
Holly
has
Warlick.
Season tickets on the right down low. She sits down low and watches this crash and burn. Bri, did that happen under them?
The last season that they played South Carolina with Kelly,
right,
they had him beat. They actually were competitive 3 times against him, home and away, and they had him beat in the SEC tourney in South Carolina. Made like a fluke shot they banked in to beat him by 1, I think.
Well, they made a shot because nobody guarded a 3-point shooter.
They were in that game, is the point.
Oh yeah,
I think
you're
that was
right.
a pretty good South Carolina team.
Yeah, you're right. But that was a great South Carolina. I thought that South Carolina team had far more weapons than this one. But I think
was last year's UConn game like the Miracle on Ice? I mean, we're getting ready to. Are we gonna make a documentary about that? How do you explain that?
No, but UConn has not lost a game since then. In a basketball season, all teams have, there's some ebb and flow to this. You're really good. You're not at the top of your game every weekend, and I don't think that was a game as big as the UConn-UT rivalry once was. I don't think UConn players could say, "Oh, it's Tennessee. Oh my gosh, we got to be at our best."
And they circled it this year, didn't they? That's kind of what.
Well, yeah. But I think after that was kind of a watershed moment for UConn, because after that, it didn't lose. You go back and look at UConn's run through the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Nothing close.
Hey, Matt, I'm super pissed off that we lost Saturday night in basketball. I came on here in a really bad mood yesterday. Bino is so right that those Kentucky games, for some reason, I don't mind it. Like if the Hayes kid, was it the Hayes kid? Who was the kid that came in here and put 50 on us? It wasn't Hayes.
Jody
Meeks. Jody Meeks.
That happens to you, and you're like, okay, whatever. It's just kind of a crazy game, and you lose at home. When this mid-Kentucky team gets up from not one, but 2 14-point deficits, and poor Rick Barnes might have had his worst night with a clipboard in his hand the other night. Guy's a great coach. Every button they pushed the other night was a wrong button. And it happens. It happens. It happens to me. It happens to all of us. And poor Estrella. That old, you had a bad day, take it one. He just, my gosh, man. Matt, for some reason, that game is like lingering on me. What do you think?
It was just a repeat of the first game, pretty much. And, unfortunately, that's kind of been what Kentucky's done all year is get down big. And a few times they've come back and won. So, no, it's frustrating. It was awful to watch. The offense in the second half was just atrocious because they were able to deny Ament the ball. And then, you have nothing else unless Gillespie's, just making shots that he jacks up, and he wasn't. So, but it's, it frustrates the hell out of me because that Kentucky team is just not very good. They're not any kind of championship contender on any level
at all.
But the Barnes versus Pope thing is it's just a bad matchup for Barnes because Pope's really good at the in-game adjustments, which I think gives Barnes trouble. Him and his staff are just kind of late to adjust to some of that stuff in the moment. And we saw the same thing every time he faces Bill Self in Kansas. And Kansas came back from, I think they were down 11 or 12 to an undefeated Arizona team and came back and won last night.
Sure did.
Like you see teams blow these leads often, like the double digit stuff. It doesn't make it any better, but it's just kind of what happens. It just absolutely sucks that it's Kentucky that we're on the wrong end of.
Well, one thing I want to ask Mark Griffin about when he's in here is the timeout taking. Pope the other night, slow to run. Our Ament guy was getting ready to have a 20-point explosion if he didn't call a timeout. Because he took it a minute and a half before the commercial break, if you go back and look at it, the planned timeout, scheduled timeout, and he said, I gotta stop this thing. Our guy sits over there and never does that. It's like Bino said. It's almost like at the coaches convention at the end of the year when they meet, they get together and there's somebody that has like a PX window, like when you're in the military, and they have some kind of script for these coaches that they can redeem for whatever they can redeem for in the coaches store. And Rick, you saved 150 timeouts this year. Coach Calipari, you saved 130.
Oh yeah,
it's bizarre. It
you
is,
get a pair of pliers and a screwdriver.
Whatever.
With the PX.
It's bizarre. Yeah. It's totally bizarre that we don't affect the game. And Matt just openly said into a microphone, and you made a face when he said it, that it's not a good matchup when you go against the coach from, looks like Bambi over there from BYU, who literally has 2 NCAA tournament wins in his lifetime, but he's in-game adjusting in these Tennessee games, and that's not good for us, John. Now, hang on. I want you to talk about, because we're going to continue on the other side. I just looked down. God, we're way over our first break after this.
When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gufon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gufon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years, 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gufon Moving and Storage, pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufon.com. That's Gufon.com. Or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufon Moving and Storage.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Cold weather is here. Is your heating system ready and running efficiently? Don't wait to find out. A simple tune-up now can help prevent costly breakdowns when you need your heat the most. Right now, Pipe Wrench is offering a $79 heating system tune-up to keep your home warm, safe, and worry-free all winter long. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune every part of your heating system for maximum efficiency and comfort, helping you avoid surprise breakdowns and high energy bills. And with Pipe Wrench Home Service's same-day service guarantee, you won't be left out in the cold waiting for help. Your comfort isn't just our job, it's our promise. Schedule your $79 heating system tune-up today at pipewrench.com before winter decides to test your heater. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. For standard systems only, visit pipewrench.com for details.
TB here with Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Tell them about it, Alan.
Hey, I'm Alan from WeShipFloors.com. Our competition's prices, well, they're going up. Ours are coming down. Our waterproof floor Supercore is the best, and right now it starts at $199 a square foot. Our warehouses are full of 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. You strapped for cash? Well, we have our own in-house financing. Use our room visualizer and order some free samples today. Supercore from WeShipFloors.com. Best products at best price.
Like Alan said, head over to WeShipFloors.com. Use the room visualizer on the website. Drop in any of the 120 Supercore floors virtually into your room and order your free samples today. WeShipFloors.com. Tennesseans, they are us. The best product, the best price. WeShipFloors.com. Living Vol fan, when it's time to get ready for 2026 and what's ahead, there's only one place. It's Alumni Hall, the best and largest selection of Tennessee apparel for the whole family. Top brands, Nike, Champion, Columbia, Peter Millar. And check this out. All the basketball stuff that the Tennessee basketball fan could ever need. Some great Tennessee baseball stuff as well. Any season, any reason. Alumni Hall, 3 locations in Knoxville. Also Murfreesboro, Bristol, and now open, of course, in Johnson City. And anytime online, alumnihall.com. Say it loud, say it proud. The ultimate volunteer shopping experience, Alumni Hall. Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the volunteer state by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof. T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, drink T3 Vodka and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Please drink responsibly.
Bradley's and your Tony Basilio Show are a Knoxville tradition. And these days, just like Tony B's show is taking off like a rocket ship, so have my friends at Bradley's. Sure, they still have all the delicious chocolate you're used to, like the chocolate-covered popcorn and the assortment boxes. They're now called Bradley's Gift and Home, and they have so much more than chocolate. Bradley's Gift and Home has all kinds of amazing curated gifts, jewelry, candles, and other for her gift items that will keep you from having to go anywhere else. Guys, Trust me, as Basilio would say, Bradley's Gift and Home have taken it to the next level. And remember, Bradley's will have freshly dipped chocolate-covered strawberries in milk and white chocolate at both of their locations, 141 North Peters Road and 138 Biddle Farms Boulevard in Farragut next to Tupelo Honey. Strawberries available February 13th and 14th. See you at Bradley's Bradley's Gift and Home. See our website, shopbradleys.com.
Every time Turner says Tupelo Honey, I always sing You're as Sweet as Tupelo Honey. We do have to give away some chocolate-covered strawberries today on the 13th and the 14th, available for you at Bradley's Gift and Home. Their new location out at Biddle Farms Road, out in Farragut, of course, over there off North Peters Road, where they've been forever and a day. Shout out to Brad and join the gang there, getting ready for the onslaught this week. This is a season of love, and I just want to live in peace and harmony. You know, I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I can't do it myself, though. Hey, Dubsy, you're like a musician. Russell Smith joining, who's live at Smoky Mountain Brewery today, Turkey Creek. Can you sing harmony, Russell? Can you hear harmony when you're singing?
Tony, I couldn't hit a high note with a hammer.
You don't have to hear the high note. You just got to sing thirds or fifths, whatever it calls for. So you can sing below somebody in a third or a fifth, but it's got to be somewhat in some sort of, what's the term? Some sort of note pattern. Can you do that, Dubsy? Can you hear it to do it?
Man, I was trying to sing along to we listened to Sirius Lithium with the fam, trying to do some Alice in Chains.
Yes.
And my kids were like, Dad, you sound like somebody's strangling a cat underwater. Please stop.
I try to sing like some stuff under Lauren sometimes when we're out there doing our thing, and she'll look over at me like, please shut up. She won't say it, but she just looks at me like, would you stop? Just sit over there like Barney Fife and do the thing where you move your mouth. How about you, John? Can you sing? Can you sing harmony with somebody?
I can sing.
Huh?
I can sing. I mean, I do solo. I'm not harmonizing with people.
Sing me something.
Goodbye, Norma Jean, though I never knew you at all.
Go! Adams, I never knew you had it in you.
Yeah, Elton John.
I thought you would bust me a little Elvis, since you're, Elvis is kind of your jam. Hey, Dubsy, so we're doing a live celebration today out at Smoky Mountain Brewery, Turkey Creek. Tell me about it, because the young man, William Pattison, takes the bandstand at noon. Are we going to do a watch along with the Olympics this afternoon as well?
Yeah, I mean, could be. It could be a Kim Caldwell appreciation party. It could be a Rick Barnes versus Mark Pope, whatever's going on there, appreciation party. But yeah, we're going to be getting into it. 1 to 6 p.m., special 5-hour encore broadcast here on Fanrun Radio this afternoon. So want folks to come out and see us at Smoky Mountain Brewery at Turkey Creek. You know what an awesome place is. Have the Ramblers ever played Smoky Mountain Brewery?
Oh,
Turkey
yes.
Creek?
Oh, yes. You got to turn it up. You got to toin it up when you're in there. It's a big room to fill.
Yep.
Here's the thing, though, Dubsy. You come out, you support Dubsy, you're supporting us. You're supporting me here, and you help us continue to grow and continue to do what we're doing. And shout out to my friends at your Copper Cellar Corporation for the business here and allowing us to do what we're doing. And it's great that you guys are going to be out there. Russell, we got to talk about, at that spot or Maryville, one of these places, we got to talk about doing a watch party here during basketball season. You think people would come out, Dubsy, for a watch party for our basketball team as uneven as it's been?
Yeah, I think they would. I mean, and if you're going to have it, that's the best place to have it. The TV setup there is incredible, the food, the beverage, and everything. So, yeah, I mean, we'll do our part. The question is Rick Barnes and his program going to do their part?
Dubsy, what'd you make of that? I was just talking to the great Mark Griffin off the air, and Matt, and I don't know, man. For some reason, that loss those two losses are just lingering.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's an obvious pattern there. I mean, we've lost 5 of the last 6, 7 of the last 9 against those guys after Rick Barnes had it kind of going against them. And so, I mean, it's just completely fallen apart since Mark Pope got there, and it's frustrating. But I mean, you could kind of see it coming as soon as that second half started and they started chipping away. It's like, oh man, we've seen this movie again. So, I mean, it's a roller coaster this season, and you're probably going to have a bunch of more wins. I think they're going to go on another win streak here. There's probably going to be a head-scratching loss or two along the way, but can you be peaking at the right time, playing your best basketball going into March, and can we find a third scorer to go along with Ament and Gillespie? Like, those guys are fine, but it's tough to do it with just 2 guys out there, and somebody else has got to step up.
Well, Matt Dixon the other night on our postgame had a great point, which is if those 2 guys don't get 50 when you play somebody that can play, you're going to have trouble winning games.
Yeah.
It's sad, man.
I mean,
it's sad to say that about Division I basketball team. If 2 guys don't combine for 50 points, it's going to be really hard to beat somebody. Now, that doesn't say much, John, about the rest of your roster, does it?
No, here's a bright side of that is that Nate Ament might start getting 30 every game.
He's coming close.
He's got that kind of potential. You can see it. And Rick Barnes, addressing the tip-off club yesterday, talked about Nate Ament's not getting any favorable whistles. He thinks they're getting away with more contact against him. And he said, and I would do the same thing, but he wants it called. You see that. I mean, let's face it. Ament is a really hard guy to guard because of his size, his quickness. There was a drive in that game against Kentucky, man. He took that first step and he was just by the defender.
At the end of the game.
Yeah.
Woo! Hey, guys, that walks me into something here. Barnes will say something out loud about officiating and that whole thing. Vitello never hesitated to do it. We know that. Our football coach has never gotten a good whistle in his life and won't say anything about it in the press. Would never say something like that. And here's my thing about officiating. You can say what you want. If you don't fight for your right to party with those guys, you will not party. Am I over-exaggerating that, Dubsy, or is that accurate in your book?
No, I mean, you got to. I think this gets into the Heupel calling plays debate because it seems like a lot of this happens on offense. When it's on defense and he's not calling the plays, he can get in the official's face and ball them out and go on and on. But if it's like a pass interference, like we saw a bunch, or he wants to argue those offensive pass interference calls that go against us, picks, where you're running the pick play.
Yep.
Like he can give the official the what the heck look, but then he's got to get on to the next play call. So he can't sit there and go full Nick Saban on the officials. So, I don't think he has time. But as far as like after the game, I mean, you raise a good point. He did that thing where he turned the mic around to Adam Sparks at Alabama a couple of years ago, whatever that was.
Not sufficient.
Other than that,
not sufficient. The turning the mic around, that's what I'm talking about. That turning the mic around thing, you got to look into a microphone and say, like Barnes did yesterday. Barnes knows there's the press there. Barnes knows you're going to come on the air and say something about it. He knows the press is there. But he doesn't care.
Tony, we talk about, coach has got to have a guy in the booth to help him manage the clock and timeouts and all that. If Heupel's not going to surrender play calling, why doesn't he hire an official bitch out the refs guy to stand on the sideline and just go crazy on the officials so that he can get on with calling the game?
Well, the officials might not respect that guy. Just, who is that? Some homeless person wandered onto the field?
Now, why'd you look at me when you said that? And by the way, on the way out here, maybe we could get one of our drunken post-game callers that you and I share.
Yeah,
to reach out and touch someone after these games.
Is Don from Sweetwater or Wuhan Don, as you guys call him, is he still around? I mean, He loves to talk to the officials.
Wait a minute.
I evoked his name, Dubsy, the other night when we were watching, and they missed a call late. I said, old Don from Sheepwater's out there listening. Don, I love you. Hey, tell him where you're going to be today, Dubsy, and I love you.
Oh, I love you too, brother. Thanks for the plug. Getting set to head down to Smoky Mountain Brewery. Going to help the great William Pattison.
Yep.
And those guys get set up. They're going to be doing their thing from 1 to 3, and then we'll be down there from 3 to 6, having a cold beverage or two, maybe some pizza, little appetizer, something like that.
It's mixed doubles curling today, the finals. It's the U.S. and Sweden. It begins while we're on the air here in a little bit, and I love curling. One of the great strategy sports in all the world. We've invited Ken Palm to come on Thursday with us. He's got a site called doubleknockout.com, and we're going to see if Ken Palm will come on and talk some curling with us. Dubsy, enjoy the curling.
I would have taken you for more of a luge guy, but sure, we'll do that.
I'll tell you because I have sinus problems. Thank you, Dubsy. Good talking to you.
Yes.
865-200-5402. Do you watch the Winter Olympics, John, at all? And if you do, what do you like to watch?
My wife's a big fan of the skating, so I watch some of that with her.
That's those.
What's this guy's name? Leah Malinin?
Leah, I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, he's already two-time world champion. He's like 21 years old. He can do things nobody's ever done.
Matt, do you watch at all any of the Winter Olympics? And did you watch Lindsey Vonn the other day?
I did see that on Peacock. I've been trying to watch it. It's hard to figure out what's on and where. But no, I watch some of the stuff, some of the skiing stuff, the luge, some of that stuff is pretty cool.
Curling is an incredible sport, y'all. When you learn to understand it and the nuances of it, Tony Jones. What are you laughing about?
You. Never mind. Let's move on.
Let's go to the phones. We're not going to move on. We're going to go to the phones, brah. Which the Kentucky fans love me using the term brah and bro. I found out. Let's go to the phones. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
What do you say, Tony? John?
Hey, T. 3 days out, brah. 3 days out.
Can't wait, Tony. It's going to be next level.
I will be there.
Outstanding.
You want to come over? You want to come over with us, Sean?
Where?
To the baseball game Friday.
No, I think I'll watch it.
Good weather.
I think I'll watch it on TV.
What a low.
Where are you sitting?
Great seats. Laura and I are going. Part of our Valentine's weekend. Our package.
Really?
Yeah. Go ahead, Taylor. Yeah.
God,
Interesting. John Adams. I thought Coach Kim, or Queen Kim, as Tony likes to call her, was absolutely disgraceful in her post-game commentary after the South Carolina game. I thought that she looks overmatched. I think the pressure is getting too much for her. She's never had this level of scrutiny, never had this level of pressure, and have never had this level of failure in her career. You asked her a very challenging question that she tried to emulate that Pat Summitt stare before when she was announced as the head coach. And I kind of thought, scratched my head and thought, she seems to be the type of person, kind of like Danny White, that really doesn't like to be questioned, doesn't like scrutiny, and is her own biggest fan. Am I being too hard on her, John?
Well, you certainly, that's a fair opinion. I didn't think that. And back to that question, see, I didn't think she was arrogant at all in her answer. I just took it at face value. I thought she was just standing up for her system. And I also didn't think about, I thought about that as an introductory press conference answer in which she wants to come on strong. And she did that. Whereas And I'm thinking, well, that's a fine answer. That's a good answer. But when we get into the actual games, and you're going to have to adjust. You can't. And I've seen her adjust already. So I just took that. I wasn't offended by it at all. I was surprised that so many people reacted that strongly to her comment. And I think people like seeing the media put in place, and if they wanted to construe it that way, that's fine. I didn't think anything about it. I thought it was a good introductory press conference answer. When you got to come across strong. I believe in this system. This will work. If I didn't think it'd work, I wouldn't be here.
John never held anything against her, and I never held anything against John for asking the question. If you'll back to that point in time,
it was totally a fair question. I just think she has a way about her that she almost seems like she has a disdain for the media, or at least I should say this, a disdain for being held accountable to answer questions post game.
She's just not fun. She's just not fun is the way I would put it.
Well, I don't think many coaches, I think coaches don't show it always, but I think most coaches probably look down on the media. Don't you agree with that?
Yes.
The
media is an irritant to most coaches.
Yeah,
Taylor.
because it forces them sometimes to address issues they'd rather just shove away.
Even walk-on Wooder, Tony Vitello was like that. Walk-on Wooder, Tony Vitello was a scorekeeper and didn't like being asked questions.
Well,
he wanted
Tony,
praise.
You're just trying to get me. You're trying to get me on the bandwagon and talk about Vitello. But I'll tell you this:
he wanted 24/7 praise like a Labrador.
Well, he gave the most thoughtful, genuine, considerate, straightforward, non-coach speak interviews I've ever seen over on the Hill, my friend.
False or true, John? What do you think?
True.
Well, last thing, John, I would ask you this. And I hope she's successful. I hope she's just not so stubborn where she can't adapt, and not allowing her team, any members of her team, to speak to media after devastating losses seems a little, a little curious to me. Like, I don't know. She looks like she needs to instill some discipline. I don't watch the Lady Vols much. I've started to a little bit, and I've noticed very lackadaisical defense, lackadaisical attitudes, and maybe that's just the world we live in with 1 year heavy portal players. But I would ask you this: in your lifetime over covering sports,
yep,
who is one of your favorite coaches that you felt like gave thoughtful, insightful answers? And other than Coach Caldwell, who do you think maybe needed some media training?
Thank you, T.
Tony, you're the dean.
Thank you, T. See you over there Friday.
Always, and I can.
Most thoughtful answers was Pat Summitt. I'll help you with that
Pat
one.
Summitt. Yeah,
without a doubt.
Definitely. She could.
Most intelligent person outside of Tony Vitello I've ever dealt with in my life in sports.
And she could handle any question.
Anything.
And she took everything. She was straightforward about things, and I could speak very eloquently. She was somebody you had no problem asking a two-part question. I always cringe when media types ask two-part questions to most coaches. I mean, come on.
You're not getting them answered. You're lucky if you get a half of your part answered.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
If you ask a two-part question to Butch Jones, what's going to happen?
Wow.
Okay, but also, Tony Vitello. I think the best interviews. Now, this is a little different press conference situation, but in an interview setting, and Vitello was really good at this, and so was Pat Summitt. It becomes more conversational than like an interview. Like I ask you a question, you answer.
Well, let's get back to this because I'm already out of time, Miss Hart. It's crazy.
I'm sorry.
No, you didn't do it. I did it. I'm the Donovan McSad here, who doesn't know how to manage a clock. Donovan McSad. Shout out. 5 will always love you.
Well, I'm glad you're not throwing your cohorts under the bus.
It's my fault. Since we're 5 late, it's my fault. Hour number 2 after this.
You're listening to FM 105.
Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch.
1340 WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fanrun Radio.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law, fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family-owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Newsflash, Basilio listeners, the spring real estate market just moved up. Yes, it's chilly outside and you're still in your puffy coat, but if you need to sell your East Tennessee property, you could be the hottest house on the block. Hi there. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. February is the sweetheart month of real estate, and savvy sellers know exactly what that means. Get ahead of the game and give me a call at 865-694-5904 or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols!
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Achillio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality, pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. Yeah, but saline with your sinuses really does work, John. As we welcome you back, it is now time, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Mark Griffin Happy Hour, Happy Hoops Hour, / Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch, / it's going to be really hard for me to do the show today because I've got a divided mind because it's time for the U.S. and Sweden in curling. And Griff, I, just like Ken Palm himself, who sets the clocks and the watches in college hoops, I am an aficionado of curling. Do you?
Well, I'm glad you have an additional interest now that the Vols and Lady Vols are kind of letting you down this time of the year. You got to have something to, pep you up a little bit.
Well, it's like the old country song, "Tonight the Bottle Let Me Down." Who made that? That Merle Haggard, right? Tonight the bottle let me down.
I could hear George Jones singing that too, though.
No question. Any of a myriad of country singers back in the day. All right, Griff, let's get right to it. Main event. Give me a takeaway from the Kentucky loss. This one.
Wow. Disappointing for us, Tony, especially, and I know many of your listeners that, they say, next game, they're all equal. That's a bunch of crap. When you lose to Kentucky, it's double to me, and especially that, as you called, mid-level talent, $22 million group of guys that are not, I think it's the worst talented team that Kentucky's had in 10 years, and it may be more. But on the bright side for Kentucky, they're able to find ways to win. I go back to what I call the blockout blunder, and this is deeper than people saying Evans didn't block out and they had the key rebound at the end, because there's so many plays during the game you can look at, but it's the key plays that hurt you, and that's what separates great teams, are the key plays. I looked more into this, what I call blockout blunder, because I, like John yesterday, was at the tip-off club and heard Coach Barnes, and he even commented that he had guards in the game for the next possession to be able to, take care of the ball if they got fouled. So it's deeper, because Tennessee's big guys are so unreliable in their free throw shooting. You couldn't put a big lineup in for that free throw attempt. Therefore, Kentucky was able to keep the ball alive. So once again, close game, free throw concerns, put guards in, and this is where it bit them. This is where it bit UT. This is where it bit the big guys for not coming through on free throws. And that's what really hurt. And then a second play that I'd like to discuss, when Oweh drove to the baseline and kicked. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go right ahead. No, we're talking curling.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, you got to wait. So when Oweh drove baseline and kicked it to Chandler for the three, if you look really closely, you've got Evans standing in space. Yep. Terry standing in space. You were taught to rotate your defense when all five guys are to rotate in sync, and you don't leave guys open when you're standing mid-range, 12 feet, 10 to 12 feet. You're guarding air. So you had Aberdeen on the baseline, and then you had the shooter that knocked down the three-pointer that they sent that Owe passed it to. Huge mistake on both defenders, Evans and Carey. You've got to guard people during that rotation. You can't just be standing straight, and it really bet them.
Griff, such a great point, though, about not having big people in the game. We talked about this earlier in the year. They've got a couple big people that literally at the end of games aren't playable, or you have to get off the floor in close games. That became pretty apparent earlier in the year when you looked at the inability to make foul shots. I don't know, though, if it's excusable to not have Brown in the game at that point. Here's my thing about it. You tell, because Griff, you played and then you coached, so you've done it all, okay? Obviously, it goes a lot faster when you're over there on the bench than we think it does. But when you have a staff of like 20 people, like these metastasized staffs these people have now, shouldn't somebody say to the head coach, hey, we got to get Brown. You got to get Brown in the game here.
Oh, there's no doubt. And everyone has their roles of the 20-something people, and they better be clearly defined. Otherwise, it's going to be, very disorganized, with people in Coach Barnes' ear. He is, watching the game, planning 2 or 3 steps ahead. And you talked about the timeouts, which we can get into down the road, but you're always planning ahead and at the same time trying to monitor pace and mismatch and running your next sets, etc. So it's very difficult as a head coach. But, the Brown part, yeah, it's a head scratcher. It can happen. I've been in situations, even in travel ball, where I looked over on the sideline. I'm like, oh, my God, I forgot about X player. You sometimes, and I'm sure Barnes wouldn't do this, but a lot of coaches sometimes forget about players because they get so caught up in strategy and what's going to happen next, what's happening now. And you can only take in so much. It's not an excuse. It can happen. Why Brown wasn't in the game, that's something that, that I'm sure has been discussed that I haven't heard on the air. But it goes back to deeper when we've talked about earlier about close games are a concern for Tennessee. And that's my postseason concern, because there's going to be close games. It's not going to be as high scoring. It's going to be guard oriented. Free throws matter more than any time during the year, what we're facing now moving to the end of the season. And that's a concern.
Mark, at the tip-off luncheon yesterday when Coach Barnes was speaker, and he took a number of questions from the audience. One of the club members, as you might have expected, brought up an obvious point about this. He was perplexed by Tennessee's struggles at the foul line. And Rick Barnes made a point of, it's one thing to just shoot foul shots, but it's another to do it with the game on the line in the final seconds and 18,000 people watching. But when you consider what's at stake, particularly in the NCAA tournament, that's almost, to me, something that players or coaches should address, that free throw shooting, even if it means bringing in a sports psychologist and just working with them on free throws, because your tournament fate, how your whole season will be viewed, often comes down to a free. You brought it up just now in the tournament. A missed free throw will be remembered, could be remembered for the rest of your life.
How about Tennessee versus Michigan State in the Elite Eight all those years ago? Make your foul shots, man.
Yeah,
a lot easier said than done.
There's got to be a way to improve your free throw shooting.
I agree, John, and it's a huge mental aspect, because I mentioned this several times, but you're taught as a basketball player, if you're not shooting well from the field, get to the line. If you can draw a foul, get to the line, that's your saving grace. That's your confidence builder. That's what you rely on to get the groove going in the future, to get your game turned around on a positive end. It was always, hey, if I get to the line, I can knock down free throws. And it's regardless of what someone's percentage was. It's like, hey, take deep breaths. You got 10 seconds. You shoot the same motion every time. And it just gets you a way to kind of regroup and take a deep breath. But when you get up there at the free throw line, you have no confidence. I mean, that carries over as well. And if I'm an opposing coach, I mean, you know which guys, it's on the scouting report. Yes. You know situations when it's under 4, hey, we're going after this guy. Because, coaches want to put in their best free throw shooters, but you can't put in 5 guards, a.k.a. Tennessee, what they did, or at least 4 against Kentucky, because what you're giving up, you have to rebound first. And it bit Tennessee at the end.
Go ahead, Matt Dixon. You're one of the lunchy bunch. Jump in here.
Yeah, I just think I think Chandler was like an 85 or 90% free throw shooter. I mean, and not to overlook it, but I think Tennessee might have just assumed he was going to make them. Because I kind of did, but it's no excuse to have that happen. So Griff, what do you think about just the Barnes versus Pope deal, and how it just seems like stylistically it's just not a good matchup for Tennessee when you have, kind of like the contrast to like Barnes being really good at defending Nate Oates?
Well, I think people make it more about the coaches. I regardless of percent wins versus another coach, I pretty much like to look at the personnel. Oweh has really improved. Now, he struggled at the beginning of the season for Kentucky. Preseason conference player of the year. He and Nate Ament, were kind of along the same trajectory. They were really inside their own heads at the beginning of the season with all this hoopla, and Oweh is, trying to shoot more 3-pointers because that's what the NBA told him he needed to improve upon, even though he's the best driver to the basket in the SEC. Is amazing. And we saw that against Tennessee. But I just look at personnel and I look at situations. It's just some mental lapse that occurred, which is just unfortunate. But you can't guard air, and it just to me it just goes back to the will to win, and that's where I give Kentucky a lot of credit. And it could come from the coach or not, but they've had, I don't know how many games, 6 comeback victories from a 10-point plus deficit or so. I'm not a stats guy like maybe Brian, but they know that they have a chance to come back. The magic number in basketball is if you could cut that deficit to under 10, you got a shot. So regardless if Tennessee's up 17 or 14, that means nothing. As a player, when it cuts to 9 or actually to 10, you always tell yourself, we got a shot.
Yep, no question about it. Griff, what about timeouts? The other night, and I've pointed this out a couple times, but Mark Pope's not afraid to take a timeout to stop a run. Our guy just not so much. It's not part of his DNA.
Well, what is it? Use them or lose them. I mean, and that's just something we talked about before too. Coaches have this thing about them. Most of them are not going to change. They're going to go with what has worked in the past for them, and it's what they're known for. And you just pretty much know that with Barnes. He's going to save his timeouts. Maybe early in his career he was burnt, where he had utilized his timeouts early, didn't have that at the end, maybe cost him a game, and said, look, this isn't going to happen again. I don't know. For me, I'm not as concerned with saving timeouts or using your timeouts. It is strategic, and And if it works, or there's a change of pace or a turnover or a great play run or a defensive stop, then yes, it's successful. Having one timeout left at the end of the game, not a big deal. Now, if you're holding 3, then that's an issue. But how many times in the last 11 years, I don't know how you look this up, has Barnes had 2+ timeouts saved at the end of the game? I would say it would be, on one hand, maximum.
Griff joining, former Vol great Mark Griffin, part of Griffin's Three-Pointers, who provides a great report for us, each and every opponent. And Griff, we're talking about, well, there's several different subjects obviously up for grabs today. We're talking about Kim Caldwell and the Lady Vols, which, doesn't generally come up here on the Lunchy Bunch. But her comments in light of the beatdown that they were delivered on Super Bowl Sunday were so extraordinary that they bear some sort of commentating upon. John, what were you telling me about their, because we got some numbers here we're going to go through. What were you telling me, John, about their 3-point shooting coming into the South Carolina game?
Tennessee was 192nd nationally in 3-point field goal percentage. And that was before it went 10 for 44. So I haven't checked, but it's in the 200s now after that exhibition.
How can you have an offense that you spent these kids you spent all this money on, and you've built your team? Help me out here. The Ruby Whitehorn crime wave, now that she's off the team, John, was she a great 3-point shooter? Was she going to really help that? Was she a marksman from out there?
I didn't think of her that way. I mean, she could shoot threes. All our players are supposed to be able to shoot threes, but there's a difference in shooting threes and shooting threes well.
Griff, give me some numbers on the Lady Vols here and what we're seeing.
Well, just to add on to what John said, I looked this up. Lady Vols are shooting a little less than 30% from the 3-point line. They're 12th in the SEC. 12th in the SEC in field goal percentage at 40%, which is really bad. When you look at these numbers, you would never think that Tennessee had the record. So actually, I think they're very fortunate for the wins they do have. Maybe a part of it's scheduling, but this does not look like a top 25 team to me, especially when you look at in the SEC, they're averaging 15 turnovers a game, which is very frustrating on my part. When I watch a game, I see a lot of bad turnovers. And to me, that's a mental focus. And you can talk about this hockey substitutions all you want, 4 or 5 ladies in, which I don't agree with. I will never agree with that. I don't care if she wins a championship. I just think it's bad for basketball. And matter of fact, long term, any coach in the SEC would love to recruit against that type of style, because you could say, hey, come here. I'm not going to take you out after 2 possessions. You're going to play. You earn it. You're going to play. You're not going to come out after 2 possessions. There's just no excuse for that to me. But the biggest for me was fouls. They average 18 fouls a game, 14th in the SEC. Now, what does this mean as far as fouls? When you're averaging 18 fouls a game, it tells me you're not moving your feet. It also alters the game going back to free throw line, gives your opponent a quicker time to get to the foul line, to make adjustments, to regroup, to get easy points. And also fouls a lot of times goes back to me saying, you're lazy, you're reaching, you shouldn't be reaching. You move your feet, stay between the ball and the basket. It just shows me a lot of laziness. And I think it's been depicted by the eyeball test as well as stats.
Mark, when you talk about more fouls with them, since she's playing 11 people, do you think they're less concerned about fouls because you don't get into foul trouble? And so she wants to be aggressive defensively, and sometimes being aggressive lends itself to more fouls. Is that possible?
I think it's possible, but at the same time, it still goes back to you can be aggressive and not foul as much, because they're critical fouls that are sending your opponents to the free throw line for the close games, not the 40-point blowouts or the 30. I mean, take those stats out. But you've got to have the discipline in you to not have so many fouls. It's like turnovers in a sense. You've got to be able to take care of the ball. You've got to manage the game, and those are controllables for the most part. I mean, you're going to have some fouls. You're going to get a bad whistle here and there. And you're right. They do have a lot of depth, but it's just unnecessary. It stops the flow of the game. And one thing that seems like a signature event for Coach Caldwell's team is pace. They want to get up and down the court. They want to shoot the threes, which is fine. 40-something's a little too much, but maybe that's a one-off, little asterisk. But for the Lady Vols, and from my viewpoint, to be successful, they've got to run. They're not going to be successful in a half-court game, which goes back to the tournament. Are points going to increase in the tournament? Or are they going to decrease? They're going to be harder to get, which is a disadvantage for this team.
Yeah, the thing is, though, Mark, in the women's game, once you get below that top tier, what Tennessee does can work, because it does have talent. It does have athleticism. It has some players who can really get up and down the court when they're motivated. So when you get into you can still get to the Sweet 16. You're looking at these stats and saying this doesn't look like a top 25 team, and you're right, it doesn't. But in women's play, with as much talent as Tennessee has, it can beat a top 25 team playing the way it does. It did that. It beat Georgia. It beat Alabama. But when you get to that second weekend of the tournament, you're going to run into a team perhaps like South Carolina.
It's really an interesting thing. Matt said earlier.
I think you're right.
Well, how about this, Mark? This is a really insightful comment. And Mark, before you were jumping on here with us, you commented to me you loved like Matt's some of Matt's insight. And Matt came up with a really interesting thing, which is both Kentucky and Tennessee, Kentucky men on the men's side and Tennessee on the women's side, spent a ton of money. And they both have real roster issues. They both have teams that don't seem like they play the way they want to play, or the players don't fit the way they want to play. John, what was that 3-point shooting thing again? There's just no way.
192nd nationally, but it's got to be over 200 now.
Where should they, if they're cooking like they want to cook and playing the way she wants to cook, where should that 3-point shooting percentage be?
I would say around.
If they're going to be upper echelon, like that's what they're paying. That's a top 5 payroll in the deal.
I mean, you should at least be shooting 35%, don't you think, Mark?
Well, and Kentucky's tracking guys to be a 7 or 8 seed in the tournament. Kentucky is You look at their schedule, you look at where they are, you look at their RPI right now. They are tracking to be a 7 or 8 seed, spending $21 million. That seems like it's almost impossible to do that.
Yeah, but again, I said I'm not as down on Kentucky as you are. I agree with what Mark said earlier. At the first of the year, when I watched Kentucky fall behind a bad LSU team by 18 points at Pete Maravich Assembling Center, I thought, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this a Kentucky team with less talent since back when Rick Pitino took over the program and they were on probation and didn't have players. He turned them around quickly, of course. But even Kentucky's lesser teams, there was a guy on there that just jumped out at you. But Oweh wasn't playing great at that time either. And then all of a sudden, he starts playing great. Aberdeen wasn't playing well to start the season. He's playing better now.
They had to hand him the ball. They have no choice now at point guard.
Well,
So
that's another thing.
And that's everything that changed.
If they hadn't lost, was it Jalen Love?
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like, but when Elway wasn't playing that great early in the year, I thought Love was Kentucky's best player. If you put him with that team now, that team could make the Elite Eight.
We're going to, on the other side, ask a question, and it's where can Rick Barnes' guys grow from here? Now, a listener has an idea that I'm going to throw at Griff, and I'm going to put it out here so Griff has a chance to think about it. And Matt and Brian Hartman. Brian Hartman is locked in, ladies and gentlemen, to this curling match. I have no other way of saying it. I don't want to spoil it at home for anybody listening, but we're in the third end. And, boy, the U.S. just missed a great chance.
I just got a text.
I love the Corys, though.
I just got a text from my wife. She says, nobody cares about curling.
To raise the production level of our offense, Barnes must move Gillespie to the 2. Put Boswell and Henderson at the 1. Leave Amen at the 3 where he's a matchup problem. It's the only way to get 50-plus points from the starting 1 to 3. One will get between 10 and 14 if you use those two guys, Boswell and Henderson. The 2 to 3 will get a combined 40-plus. And there's no reason our 4 and 5 guys can't get 25 to 35 from there. And I'm going to ask you guys if that could be a solution going forward as we continue. Can you take a combination of, or let Amen start handling the ball more out top? The other night, Kentucky essentially took our point guard away. That's what they did. You go back and look at the game. In fact, they took both those guys away. We're going to take a brief timeout and come back. Again, Ken Palm in 2 days. Double Knockout's a great site. You know him from the Ken Palm Hoops, but Ken Palm's a curling enthusiast. We'll come back on the other side. John Adams is presented by the great Jennifer Morris. Next move, SmokyMountains.com. She of Keller Williams. Don't you dare buy, sell, or trade a home without her expertise on your side. 6 on your side, Don Dare. Don't you dare do that. Don't you dare with Jennifer Morris. You better have her on your side. Brief timeout. We continue with more as we roll it back. Mark Griffin in the house. We'll talk about ways this team can improve from here and get more, because right now they're a 2-man team and eminently guardable. So we continue with more after this. Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land. Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dos with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care. I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's,
one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest. Finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
Bradley's and your Tony Basilio Show are a Knoxville tradition. And these days, just like Tony B's show has taken off like a rocket ship, so have my friends at Bradley's. Sure, they still have all the delicious chocolate you're used to, like the chocolate-covered popcorn in the assortment boxes. They're now called Bradley's Gift and Home, and they have so much more than chocolate. Bradley's Gift and Home has all kinds of amazing curated gifts, jewelry, candles, and other for her gift items that will keep you from having to go anywhere else. Guys, trust me, as Basilio would say, Bradley's Gift and Home have taken it to the next level. And remember, Bradley's will have freshly dipped chocolate-covered strawberries in milk and white chocolate at both of their locations, 141 North Peters Road and 138 Biddle Farms Boulevard in Farragut next to Tupelo Honey. Strawberries available February 13th and 14th. See you at Bradley's Bradley's Gift and Home. See our website, shopbradleys.com.
A great discussion breaking out here during our timeout regarding the depth of the SEC and the viability of these teams in the NCAA tournament. Perhaps we'll get to that because, Brian, we have a guest coming up in our overtime segment who's going to share a few thoughts on Mississippi State tomorrow night, a 9 Eastern start. Great for the Night Owls. Some midnight madness, a midnight rendezvous between all of us tomorrow evening. It's going to be outstanding. Brian?
Yeah, it's Landon Tucker. Excuse me, I thought you already said his name.
No.
MyDogPodcast.com.
Yeah, we've had Landon on. He was very memorable when we had him on back in the fall. So I'm looking forward to talking to Landon Tucker.
Yeah, I remember.
John commented to me after we had him on. We had a conversation about him. So see what we were talking about in the third hour. Back to Mark Griffin. We're doing the Lunchy Bunch here. It's our Happy Time Hoops Hour. And I'm always happy to talk hoops with Griff, who also pitched at the University of Tennessee, by the way, and he loves the baseball. So
Mark pitched?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mark
That's how bad we were. That's how bad Tennessee was,
I was
back
there
in the day, John.
I was there on,
yes.
on that Sunday afternoon. He struck out Frank Thomas. I was there.
You struck out Frank Thomas?
After he hit 2 home runs off our previous pitchers, yes. And I pointed at him, which you don't do in baseball, but I was so hyped that I didn't care. I pointed at him. I said, "Sit down." And both benches erupted and laughed because they were winning like 11-3.
I got a baseball Hall of Famer.
Did you throw your arms up in the air after you struck him out?
No, he pointed at him and told him to sit down.
I
was
pointed
there.
at him.
It was a sunny Sunday afternoon. There was about 50 people there, which Griff will tell you. Frank Thomas hit a ball to left field that day for a point of
Still
reference that went over the road and was still rising when it went off into the sunset, cleared the tree line, had to land over the railroad tracks, Griff. Literally one of the hardest hit balls in the history of mankind. Am I lying, Griff?
No. Mark Connor was our coach, the Yankees bullpen coach back in the day.
Yep.
That they hired, and we're not good. Nothing like it is now. So appreciate baseball now, but it was an honor to put the uniform on and push those guys. Had some great time with baseball guys. Played Greg McMichael was the star player that went on for the, to be with the World Series Braves. Started off with Cleveland,
Top
Knoxville
prospect.
native.
Yep.
And other great guys. Great memories with those guys for one season. And
who was the best?
It was after my junior year, and I thought I'm not going to do it my senior year, obviously, because of basketball.
Greg McMichael's brother gave me a colonoscopy one time.
Nobody cares about that. Who was the best basketball player you ever played against?
Best basketball?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Chris Jackson.
The one that at the time was the center from Michigan, and I can't think of his name, played for Dallas.
Roy Tarpley.
He got run out of basketball because he had a drug problem.
Roy Tarpley.
Roy Tarpley was the most intimidating player